Well, we've spent the day here at Ballavell Farm with Will and his cows. So let's have a look back on what we've been up to today. So, well, we've got the cows in, they're getting milked. You said about taking over farms 2 years ago?
Yeah, we moved in, me and my wife moved in 2 years ago when mum and dad retired. So yeah, since then we've put up this new milking system, which took a lot longer than planned due to COVID, but I think that's the same for everyone.
So what about the actual cows themselves? We've got a nice one over there who's hanging around. You said about they know what's going on, they know something's going on today.
Yes, as you can see there's plenty of hosing down to do at the minute. Basically they're a Ayrshire cross Holstein herd, milk just over 100 this year, down to 84 at the minute with dry cows, and they're given somewhere in the region of about 7,000 litres a year.
And so just in terms of that, so dry cows, what's that, just because they're calved early in the year? Or?
They go dry just before they calve, so they have we give them they have about sort of 6 to 8 weeks of out of grass until they're ready to have their calf.
You said about them being creatures of habit. I mean, down the far end you can't really see it, but they were queuing up around the corner.
Yeah.
Are they sort of, I mean obviously you're hooking up to machines, but they're quite they know what they're doing each morning, they get in line and... Yeah,
you've also got your lead cows, your back cows, you've always got the same sort of 20 towards the front, the same 20 towards the back. They all know their place, they've got their individual pecking order.
I just finally, in terms of getting up in the morning, how early are you actually up to start this?
About 5:45 is the usual, and then like to be milking for about 6:15.
But this is sped up the process, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, we were milking through the old parlour, which went in and about on 1970, somewhere around that, which was taking me somewhere close to 2.5 hours in the morning. That's down to about an hour and a quarter now, so... Just,
Yeah,
go on, let them go now.
So you said this, some in the maternity ward, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
2 heifers.
Two in the back there, yeah.
So why are they in here?
Just to give them a bit more of a closer attention. The rest of the dry cows are all out the field at the minute, which we're going to have a look at them later. But yeah, these two are just coming closer, and with them being younger and first time, just rather give them a bit more, a bit more attention really.
So is it not necessarily a case of having to necessarily do anything, it's more about them knowing that someone's around?
Yeah, just getting to know the environment a bit more as well, so they're seeing the cows coming past every day, they're seeing the new milking parlour there, so that they're able to, know what goes on when they come into the herd then as well.
And if it's sort of, in the middle of the night sort of thing, are you keeping a half an ear out when you're in sleep for it? Or? Yeah,
pretty much. We haven't got a camera set up yet, but it's something we're looking into at the minute. But you know what you're looking for with them, and you can gauge if it's going to be in the night. So if it was, I'd get up 2 or 3 times in the night to go and keep an eye on them.
Oh, nice. So just in terms of these dairy or beef?
These are dairy. Yeah, these are dairy.
And they'll be. So how old? I'm playing fun role of amateur here. How old are they?
They're about 2 now. So calving for 2 is what we're aiming for.
Having met some of the big cows, it was time to see how the baby cows get fed.
This is what we use for feeding the calves. It's got a mixer in it and a pump in it. So we're feeding that blossom milk powder to them. Which I'm not sure what the weight was, but it's all weighed out individually what they're going to get for how much powder. So yeah, we just put the hot water in first, then the powder, mix it all up, and then we'll go and put some cold in just to get it to the right temperature for them.
Will then taught us about cow food, which it turns out isn't milk.
Yeah, this is the homegrown spring barley that we've got. There's about 50 tonne here. There's also close to 100 tonne in the grain tower that we use for ourselves. This has been treated though with a urea base protein, which barley itself is normally somewhere between about 9 and 11% protein, whereas this is supposed to, I haven't analysed it yet, but this is supposed to give you more of about 12 to 14% protein. So just hopefully means less reliant on bringing protein in on the boat when we can do the most with what we got, really.
And typically, what's it used for?
Feeding cattle, young stock. The fattening cattle that we do is all fed on this. And anything up to the dairy herd basically is fed through this, and then the rest of the dairy herd then are fed with a different mix of homegrown barley again, but with a protein nut that we bring in.
Then it was time for me to dramatically walk through the cow's house, but unfortunately they weren't home.
So this is the cow shed where the milking cows live in the winter. They're still out of grass at the minute, basically until ground conditions get too bad. We clean this out twice a day. They get fresh straw every day, and then they're fed in the next side, which you'll see in a minute. But they're in from about any time whenever the weather breaks through till end of February, early March, and then that's when we get them back out to grass again, just as soon as we can.
So if they're spending the winter in here at the minute, why is it you having to look out today? What is it they do? Are they coming in here at night, are they?
Yeah, well, they've got the option at the minute. I'm leaving the gate open, and about half of them seem to be coming in and lying down, and half of them are staying out the field. So it's kind of give them a choice.
Do they have their own pen? Yeah. Do they deliberately have their own little?
Sometimes.
This is where I am.
Yeah, alpha ones tend to have that. They'll have their stall that they like. Other than that, no, they tend to be as and where they want to be.
Good. So, what we stood in front of here?
This is silage. This is chopped up fermented grass that we'd made about somewhere around the 5th of May last year. And basically this is the cows, the milking cows, and anything else is feed for the winter. Try to make it as dry as we can while we're doing it, just to try and. That's just basically what the cows eat. They're trying to get as much protein and dry matter as we can into them.
So roughly how much of it is here?
I don't know how many tons will be here, but acres wise, there'll be about 130 acres worth of grass in the pit. 1,200 ton. My dad's just informed me there's about 1,200 tons here. Like I said, this is just the very start. It goes a long way back from here.
So that's when they come in. This is when they spend the winter inside. This is what they get.
This is what they're eating predominantly. Yeah, they're on this what we'd call ad lib, so they've always got feed in front of them. We never want them to run out. It's a bit like them being in a grass field. You want them to always have food in front of them, which put fresh stuff in every day. Every morning they get fresh silage and cleaned out, as you can. I don't know if you can hear the tractor going, but.
So, we're up in the field now with the cows, watching them be milked and all that. But we're talking about the EU as we were coming over, and you said you would have voted to leave.
Would have done at the time, yeah.
But now you're saying this, basically the trade deal's not looking great for.
Don't seem to be. That's just, I think from a selfish point of view, I think maybe we'd have been better off with better deals. But at the same time, I think if we were left in, I don't think we'd be any better off either.
But what's been negotiated there also because of the extension onto us? Is this something that you're looking at saying this could come down the line to us? Is this something you're saying will come down the line and hit us? I think yourselves really.
I think eventually it will, from a creamery standpoint, with exporting of cheese and whatnot. We'll obviously have to wait and see how that kind of goes with with the mature cheddars and whatnot.
And what about in terms of the imports of beef?
Well, if you want to buy an inferior product, buy cheap. I think it's the.
And so there's a question. They're stood up at the minute, but the weather forecast tells me they should be sitting down.
They should be.
Is it true? Do cows lie down when it's going to rain?
Sometimes it would be the answer. I've come past a field of cows before and seen everyone lying down, and it's bright sunshine, and you think, "What are you doing?" And then other times you come past, they're all lying down, and then it rains like hell.
So it could be a lesson. Sometimes cows lie down.
Yeah, sometimes.
So we're out again in the fields, but these are different cows to what we were looking at earlier. So why have we come all the way out here, basically?
Just to check on them. This time of year, it's wind and rain is coming and getting a bit colder. So just checking on them and checking on the grass. Make sure they've got plenty of food in front of them. So here there's like a real mixed bag. There's the future dairy herd. The heifers are in here. There's also the beef side. There's also the dairy bulls, which are in here, which will be getting. As they come into the sheds, we'll be separating them for fattening them.
So what is the difference between the dairy herd and the beef herd? Like, what is it that's actually separating them?
The breed, more than anything. The dairy herd, these are all to a Danish Red Bull, whereas the real brown ones, they're to a Limousin Bull. And they just pack more weight on them, basically, is just a bit fatter and less milk if you tried to rear the heifers.
So that's just on that. So how do you is it literally just dividing and keep them away from each other when you want to have the beef herd sort of thing as opposed to dairy?
As in what, sorry?
When you want to have your beef and your dairy and you split them up, how is it? Is that literally just a case of splitting them?
Just split them into different sheds. Yeah, we have like the dairy shed. The heifers go in onto cubicles, the same, just smaller version of what the cows will lie on. So that they're used to that when they come in with the milking herd. Then
we've got a right audience now, haven't we? Saying that, there is one pissing over there. So.
Yeah. Hope you're not used to that kind of an audience.
I've done Sad Loki. This is surprisingly similar. The silence and the complete objection. Someone's having a piss in the corner.
Having mastered cowing, Will's dad, Colin, took me out to show me the tractors. Showing my natural ability for television, I actually forgot to tell the crew that this is what we were doing, so left them behind. I've realised I'm about as good at making a cow's bed as I am making my own. And we also think that when it comes to people say buy local, shop local, we have the easy part in that, as we go into supermarkets and there it all is. What we don't see is that the graft that goes into being a farmer. I was on the farm with Will for one day there and I was absolutely exhausted. But these guys are day in, day out, come rain or shine, and this is just, it's a really integral part of our island. Not only our island history, but our island now and our businesses, and this is something fantastic which we should all be supporting. Having spent the day on the farm, Will finally decided it was time that I was allowed to use the milking machine. However, it turns out it's a bit harder than it looks.
Red button. Give it a stroke, yeah. That's it. And still be furthest one away. Oh, nearly. Yeah, so if you drop them back over again, that stops the vacuum. So if you see that there, the vacuum's filled when they're kinked over. So as you get like down first one, just try and hold it up a little bit more.
Right, that's the right one.
Yeah, you're still lined up. I'll take
Very sorry, cow.
That's it. Then you hold up against it at the front. Nearly there. So as that happens, just push forward slightly with your hand. There you go. And on. That's it.
I thought for a first attempt it wasn't the worst. 4 or 5 attempts to get it on. Yeah, I don't think dairy farmers me. I've tried and failed. So yeah, it's quite busy. I'm impressed I survived today, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you didn't have a go at the clippers though, so that's a bit of a letdown, but...
Yeah, but I've got an attractor.
That's a start.
So, I suppose we have to ask at this point, it's that stereotypical sort of, would you have us back?
Yeah.
It's a vote of confidence in my eyes.
I thank you to Will Duggan and his entire family for putting up with us for the day down on Ballavell Farm, and to our man Young Farmers helping us put together. You know, I just want to say, when it comes to buy local, shop local, you know, we see it everywhere, and you sort of forget, oh yeah, that's nice, it's Manx. But in reality, if you want sustainable, local, homegrown produce, this is the way to do it. So, you know, do it.